skaters are along the boards. This happening with 7:41 to play in the third period. It's been rather mild, a little bit of hitting throughout, but not too much. And now they're showing signs of maybe doing a little more than hitting. Now they're going to hit. Horn is into Lysiak. And they're standing back to let him go. If they go to the ice, of course, the linesman will be in. There they come. Jim Korn and Tom Lysiak. They'll get majors. So a little thing to look for tomorrow in the Chicago Stadium as they wind this one down. Yaremchuk and Courtnall were called first. At least Courtnall was.
Yeah, Courtnall. I don't think Yaremchuk is going to get a penalty. Tessier watching everything, and then let's have a look as Courtnall comes in. He's got the elbow high, the stick high, and you see right away Lewis signals an elbowing call.
Chicago penalty number 12.
Lysiak, 5 minutes
okay,
for fight.
Courtnall drew 2 minors.
Penalty number 26.
The shot and a save by Janusek. Brent Ashton centers, and Dupont and Willi Plett are going to go. Dupont has had his problems when he has gone toe-to-toe here in this NHL season, and he's having his problems in this battle.
Well, Dupont gets A for effort, but 3 fights we've seen him in, and he's lost all 3 of them.
Plett, a very physical player, and Dupont never backs away.
Started right in front of Janusek, the shot, the save. Roberts let the shot go. Janusek made the save. There's the first punch thrown by Plett. Plett trying to grab the pants right there and throw him to the ice. So with 18...
Now Dupont and Plett at center ice having words coming out of the penalty box. Dupont and Plett drop their gloves at center ice. And they're going to go. They had just come out after serving 7 minutes for fighting. This is round 2.
Dupont off to a good start. Got a couple of good ones in on Plett. They had words as soon as they got out of the penalty box. And maybe Dupont might have his first victory in 4 apiece.
Well, 7 minutes would seem at that running time, hot time, be plenty of time to cool off, but Dupont and Plett come out, and they're ready to do battle.
Dupont got a couple of good shots in early, and Plett was able to wrestle him to the ice, and that was the end of it. So Dupont 1 for 1 in the, or 1 for 2 in the 2 confrontations. That certainly takes a lot of pressure off Fraser and Secord not having to deal with Plett. Both of them vanished to their respective locker rooms. They'll probably say goodnight to those 2 players. And they will probably get game misconduct.
For Willi Plett, 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct penalty. Blackhawk penalty number 25, Jerome Dupont, 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct penalty at 9:34.
So we have a potential 3-rounder as they'll be able to return in the third period. 3-3, the Hawks and the North Stars. What a rivalry it has been.
Downstairs to conduct an interview as we see Yaremchuk staring at Floyd and Behn Wilson right there as well. And now the sticks come up. Lysiak and Sorella waiting into him. Behn Wilson trying to get in between. And our first tip of the night. In those occasional magazine polls that are taken every so often when they ask who is the best at certain things. Behn Wilson always ranks among the top 3 when it comes to pugilism. And he explains that he was taught how to fight at a very early age by his father in Toronto, who was a high school football coach, and felt that all of his boys should learn how to defend themselves young. And whether it is that combined with the strength and the balance that has brought about his reputation, we're not certain. But at any rate, he's glaring at the bench now as we see what brought all this about. Yaremchuk moved in, got the stick up a bit, and it is from that that the standing and jawing commenced. It'll be Lysiak coming off, as well as Sorella. And these will be coincidental minors. Penalties 4 and 5 on the night. First penalty to New Jersey. So they'll go at 4 aside. Our ear was just taken to the roar of the crowd, and that's just the announcement on the official scoring of the Behn Wilson goal. It comes from Yaremchuk as well as Lysiak. And Wilson and Yaremchuk remain out, and we're going to have one right at center ice under the big scoreboard. Yaremchuk down, and on top of him, I believe, is Pat Verbeek. To my recollection, Verbeek was at the bench at the time of the initial one. He is on top, Yaremchuk underneath, and the linesmen Ron Finn and Dan Shakti seeking to get them calmed. And as is the case in the NHL, as that shot tells a story, this year they are keeping players in opposite directions from altercations. Pat Verbeek will come off for the Devils. Yaremchuk will be coming off for the Blackhawks. As Billy McMillan watches from the bench, and you can see where this one comes about. Right there, it is Verbeek with the shove, and Yaremchuk turns, and the two youngsters scuffle at center ice. Verbeek just 19, and Yaremchuk the same age. Both highly touted.
It's a delayed offside call. Pettersson gets it to center. Oh, punched to the ice by Ludzik. Body went one way, his stick the other, and Pettersson saw the puck go a third direction. Fox.
This body check right here by Ludzik. Pettersson, a shifty individual, ran out of moves right there as Ludzik just levels him to the ice. One of the better checks we've seen all season long.
4 St. Louis shots in the first period on Bannerman. Up, puck in front, and Bannerman pounces on it as Federico, Sutter, and Mullen come close to putting one in, and the Hawks will find themselves a man short. With Dale Talon, this is Ken Wilson at the arena in St. Louis. Are we going to see that?
Realizing he was beat on the play, and then he gets Brian Sutter after the fact right here. The puck lay there, and watch Murray Bannerman pounce on it to make sure there's no action.
And the blue over to Chouinard. He drills it high. Rebound, Mullen. Federico, a backhand shot. Bannerman doesn't see it, but he had it covered long enough. Oh, did Federico have a great opportunity.
Here we've got two defensemen to the left of the box, and the rebound squirts out right here. Mullen has a chance. Bannerman is down. Federico's got all kinds of time. He's fading away, but cannot get it over Bannerman.
He's taken out. Thrown to the ice by Carlson, and it's Guy Chouinard. Let's come back. Troy Murray hit by Katsopoulos. There'll be a delayed penalty call against Hartford in front of the Whaler net as Weiser takes the puck. Dunn pushing and shoving now with Curt Fraser. And Hartford has a penalty call coming, and the Blackhawks will close out the first period of play with the power play on their side. Chris Katsopoulos going up. Looks like there's Bobby Crawford's shot we have a look at. Tonio right down to smothered. Nobody there to get the rebound. You'll see right here Chris comes in, he just gets a knee in. He'll either get kneeing or tripping penalty.
49. Hartford, Bentley, Christopoulos, 2 minutes for tripping.
Robertson got his stick on it. Back again to Behn Wilson. Out at center ice, Siltman turns it back to the Blackhawk line. Behn Wilson ahead for Savard. Back to Wilson. Offside. Yaremchuk way ahead of the play. Crombeen and Secord dropped the gloves, and Crombeen has not dropped them yet. And Crombeen really angry at Secord, but Secord dropped his stick and gloves and was willing to discuss it further. And Crombeen and Secord will both get penalties now.
Well, Secord's a pretty tough dude.
No question about that.
One of the best in the league.
Absolutely.
Mike Crombeen's got that face protection over his eyes, so it really is. You're going to hit helmet or plexiglass.
He's going to have to take the helmet off to have an even fight. Crombeen, an unusual player in that he was never injured in the eye, never had any sort of facial injury. Just began wearing the face shield because he thought at this point in his career, why take a chance? He tried it during practice several times with St. Louis about the middle of last season and decided he didn't feel any different one way or the other as far as it affecting his play. So he started wearing it and has had it on ever since.
Well, one, it's not going to have any adverse effect on your ability to see and pick up the puck and things like that. It's not a bad idea. I know Ronnie Francis wears one, but that was from getting hit in the eye.
That's shot right on. Bannerman the save. Yaremchuk, a lead passes. A fight breaks out. Maxwell wants Savard. Savard can't find a way to get the gloves off or release the stick. And they were going at it well away from the puck.
What a size mismatch there. Maxwell, 6'3" and about 215, and Savard, not very big at all. Smart moving Savard. Smart, don't drop the stick. Maxwell dropped his, but the altercation occurred where the two benches meet, just at the checkered red line. You can look at it here. Maxwell tries to dump it in. Savard gets up at him, gets his elbows and stick up. Maxwell takes exception to it, and there's Savard swinging his stick at him. Ooh, Savard ready to swing at him again as Maxwell had dropped his gloves and took a poke at Savard.
The puck for Ludzik. Ludzik hit by Giles. Oh, what a great hip check that was. You don't see many of those anymore. Here's Bellows teeing it up, and he was barreled into by Bellows, covers it for the face-off.
Well, we see Bellows against Behn Wilson and Keith Brown. Boy, Wilson having a tough road trip as Bellows made a move, went to the inside, squirted through them, and Bannerman came up with a big save. Now watch this body check here. Ludzik with his head down just sees Giles at the last second. Giles, built like a fire plug, got his rear end to him and sent him flying. Look at this play by Bellows. Fakes wide, goes to the inside, squirts through. Great effort there by Bellows, and a great save by Murray Bannerman as Bellows goes into the net. Bannerman's arm was in a really vulnerable position as he was reaching back and almost wrapped around the goalpost.
Well, you've seen about 2 games worth of action here in the opening minute and 12 seconds of the period.
Well, I like the beauty of this one is.
Peter Marsh and Marouk come together. Meanwhile, Brown and Plett in front. There'll be penalties, and Brown and Plett, they go. Here they go.
And they're wrestling around on the near side. They are
Willi Plett taking exception to a good hard check by Keith Brown right in front of the Blackhawk bench. And after the fact, when the play was in the corner to the right of Bannerman, he came all the way out of his way to get the Brown, gave him a high stick right in the face, or an elbow, and then they stared at each other for a while.
We're jousting for just a second with the...
Get a look at the solid check right here. Keith Brown coming a long way from his right defense, knocks Plett down right in front of the Hawk bench. And then Plett gets his stick up.
Very hard with his stick. And that was a wrestling match.
Well, Plett. Could be better for wear. There'll be penalties, and we'll be right back.
So we're going to have some penalties here.
Basic Shiner.
He didn't get it from a punch, that's for sure. Brown
14-19.
didn't even want to fight with him.
Time of the penalty.
What do you think, Coach? Taking a fourth.
Look how the altercation started after Brown decked Plett. There he is. He gets the elbow up right here. Watch this right there. Cross-checks Brown. Brown's looking. Now they duel jousting with their sticks. And all of a sudden, they both drop their gloves and they both wrestle. I think that Plett was butted by Keith Brown's helmet. He got cut under the left eye. You could see that the helmet of Keith Brown hit him when they grabbed each other.
Number 20,
2 minutes for high sticking and 2 minutes for roughing. On Chicago's Keith Brown, a major for fighting. What? On Minnesota's Willi Plett, a major for fighting. Time of the penalties, 14-19.
Okay, so going over in front of the Chicago bench. Behn Wilson into it.
And Bothwell.
Tim Bothwell. And Bothwell drapes Wilson right over the boards at the Chicago bench. And Wilson is one of the toughest fighters there is in the league. That Bothwell must be really a strong guy.
You'd think he'd want to stay out of trouble. That is, Behn Wilson would, in that he is facing a 4-game suspension. They're having the dickens of a time to pry the pair of them apart. It's like he's got him harpooned up on the boards. The rest of the Blackhawks wisely stay back. The backup goaltender, Bannerman, sitting off to the right side, just chewing away in the gum and sort of taking it all in as Bothwell and Behn Wilson continue to be pried loose from one another.
Oh, it wasn't Behn Wilson.
No, it's Ludzik.
Steve Ludzik.
Yes, excuse me, 29, not 23.
I thought I saw a 3 on the jersey, but it's Ludzik.
Dan, everything's been falling here tonight. It's like Saturday night at the bowling alley. The glass has been coming out. The net's been coming off its moorings. The goaltenders, particularly Esposito, are these the reflexes of a 40-year-old man?
I don't know. He's been brilliant here tonight. 5-minute majors to Ludzik and to Bothwell for fighting. Ron, the Hawks lead this game 3-2.
Preston breaks for the net. Crossman all over him and throws with Savard right there. Smothers the puck, and Savard takes a punch from Prop, and now Savard wails away on Brian Prop.
Savard surprising Prop. Let him go to the left. Let go. Savard came in quickly on Froze. Threw some snow at him. Froze got a stick up, and then Prop coming from behind, which is customary for him. And Savard doing an excellent job. Prop got him.
This turned into a whale of a battle. Boy, Savard, little and wiry compared to some of the heavyweights, and he did a fine early job out of his weight class. And I'd have to say that Prop was a bit out of line, taking exception, because Savard really didn't do anything physically with goaltender Bob Froze, but they went toe-to-toe.
Well, that's Prop's style. We probably won't even see him at the Chicago Stadium. He's really tough here. See Savard stopping. All he did was spray him with some snow and let Savard here just drop him, and they hit him with a strong left right there, and then they go at it. Both the linesmen and the referee let him go.
Those feared words again, huh?
Oh, those 3 most feared words in hockey when that referee says, let him go.
Boy, Savard showing some incredible strength with Brian Prop. So they will both go off. The Flyers are all over. Tees it up. Bannerman makes an outstanding save. Clarke was all over him, and Bannerman having words with Bobby Clarke. Now Clarke and Behn Wilson, teammates a season ago, with a verbal attack at each other.
Bannerman making a good save. Getting hacked at by Bobby Clarke. The low shot from Billy Barber again. The save. The puck just lay there. He covers up. And after he covers up, the whistle is blown, and then he gets up and has a few things to say to Bobby Clarke. Preston and Behn Wilson also say a few things to him.
All clear for Buffalo. Couldn't get around the defense. Now a fight going. Bob Murray and Sear of the Sabres. And Sear winds up on top of Bob Murray. Well, that had started back in front of Bannerman. It originally looked like it was going to be no more than a little bit of pushing and shoving. I think Sear had a different feeling. He went right after Bob Murray.
There you see Murray. Also, the other player heading for the penalty box. You're watching
Off the youngster, Rich Sutter, into the crowd. And the youngster and Behn Wilson have words.
Darryl Sutter comes over and tells his younger brother he doesn't know what he's getting himself into, I would imagine.
Tough customers out there on the ice when you throw three Sutters out there and Behn Wilson, and of course you got Ludzik. McCrimmon steps in. Boy, Brian Propp wanted nothing to do with big Keith Brown, and of course earlier in this period Propp and Savard went at it in quite a battle. Now Holmgren comes in. Where'd he come from?
He came off the bench. He could get a penalty for coming off the bench. Referee Bob Myers trying to control this.
Holmgren wants Behn Wilson. They may not be best of friends from their seasons together here.
A couple of heavyweights right there, I would say that. Behn Wilson and Holmgren.
Well, we've got we've got more Blackhawks than you'd care to count also out there on the ice at the moment.
Well, Holmgren was the first player to come off in the change. Keith Brown started raking Brian Propp over pretty well, and they wouldn't have anything to do with each other.
Now Cochran and Sear trying to get at each other. And it's getting pretty hard to count. You definitely know you've got more than 10 players in that group. You've got how many Flyers? 8 Flyers are out there, and 8 Blackhawks. So you just kind of keep it even in case they start to play any music so you can dance. Darryl Sutter, extra for the Blackhawks, came out to make it 8-8, and the Flyers had a man advantage in the discussion. Darryl Sutter went out just to even things up. Now Holmgren and Behn Wilson skating next to each other off to the right out of your view. There they are. Ron Hasseltine is the linesman reading the act to the Minnesota native Holmgren.
Going at it as they're trying to tug at each other's helmets. The clock stops with 10 seconds to go, and Lynn's been trying to go to work. Now with 10 seconds to go, penalties to Linsman and Johnson. 4-2 Bruins in front. This is Hockey Night in Hartford.
Wilson, he'll let her go right on the save, and Beaupre had a good look at it. Meanwhile, the Blackhawk player is hurt in front of the net.
The low
Darryl
shot
Sutter
from Doug Wilson was deflected high, and it hit Darryl Sutter in the side of the face, the right side of his face, and he went down. Wilson, we all know, has that wicked shot, and he's bleeding profusely. That shot deflected. It was low and hard and deflected off of maybe a North Star stick, hitting him in the right side of the face. We get a look at it right here. There's the deflection. Hitting him on the left side of the face. He couldn't get out of the way as he was tied up in front. Wilson gets everything behind it and it's right off the...
So Darryl Sutter will go downstairs for repairs. Well, that's an awesome sight. At first, from one view, it looked like the puck had reached Beaupre, but right outside the crease there, you could see clearly on the replay the deflection hitting Darryl Sutter. Tough way to make a living, isn't it?
Well, his life passed in front of him as he saw that shot coming towards his head, and he could do nothing to elude that deflection. Blackhawks suffering so many injuries this year, as well as the suspensions.
Gardner! Oh, and he's unable to get the shot away. Steve Larmer whacking a with the rebound, and he was sandwiched. Now the Hawks taking exception as they come very close to adding to the lead. Boy, Steve Larmer became sandwiched between two Canucks after he was taking whacks at that bouncing puck that Caprice finally got a handle on.
Good end-to-end action. The Blackhawks come back. A Savard pass to Billy Gardner in the slot. He was all alone. He just couldn't get the handle on the puck. He almost slid it. Right here, the puck is almost behind him. He reaches back, advances it, and almost slides it under Caprice. The puck is loose. Larmer takes a whack at it, and then he's knocked to the seat of his pants.
Esposito saves. There's a penalty coming up. Fatorik and O'Callahan start to go, and O'Callahan skates away from it.
Yeah, O'Callahan skates away. He and Robbie Fatorik know each other from Boston, and they just skated away. Somebody's got a penalty, though.
Oh, yes. 12 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Second period. Fatorik still going at his old friend. That's hockey. We'll be back with more of it in a couple of minutes.
While we were away, Ludzik and Mike Allison went at it.
I'll tell you, it was kind of funny, well, not really funny, but it was funny to watch. Allison and Ludzik stood there all alone, talking to each other, both nodded their head yes, and just dropped the gloves. Mike Allison is going off the ice. I don't know if he hurt himself or what.
They're both going off, and I suspect they're being penalized for not breaking up the fight and going. However, I do see Bob Williams, the trainer, coming over. And maybe Mike might have gotten cut.
No, he didn't get
Ludzik's
cut.
going off as well, so they've been ordered off the ice.
Well, they should. They should get a 10-minute. Ludzik and Allison were talking to each other, folks. We were away at commercial. They were nose to nose, and then all of a sudden Ludzik just skated back and dropped his gloves. So Allison dropped his gloves, and they had a wrestling match, really. And Allison put him down, and then the referees and linesmen
They both nodded heads at each other. They sort of very diplomatically decided to drop the gloves and go at it. Don't forget Ludzik is the guy that knocked out Glenn Hanlon's feet earlier in the game, and that may have had some bearing on the situation. I'm not very sure about it.
In the meantime, O'Callahan is going to get a 5-minute major for drawing blood on Robbie Fatorik. Fatorik will go off. That's why probably Bobby went.
This is Savard at his best to Doug Wilson. He shoots. Peters makes the save. He's hurt. Another shot, and it deflects into the crowd, and you can see Boston goalie Pete Peters in pain. Savard missing the whole empty net on the feed from Keith Brown. He was stationed to the right of Peters. Puck got back to Savard. He fed Doug Wilson. Wilson let the quick shot go high, and Pete Peters was stunned by that shot. Peters, who missed 15 games, or 6 games, due to a concussion. Right here, Doug Wilson gets it up high as Terry O'Reilly tried in vain to block it. He makes the save there, and right after that you can see he's dazed by that shot. He's down as if he was shot. Where do you think he caught it, Dale? You couldn't see in the replay. Where? Upper chest, or? It didn't look like it was even that high a shot. How much padding now do those chest protectors provide for a goalie? You can't, they have a belly pad as well, but the chest protector is pretty good. Sometimes it has a tendency to pull up on you when you move. That might have happened. There's the backup goalie, Mike Moffett. Peters important to the Bruins. He has been victorious in all but one of his last 7 starts. He's only given up 15 goals in his last 7 hockey games.
good chance. He shoots. It's deflected wide. And Bannerman snares it off the inboards. And Dupont is going to go at it with Terry Turnbull.
Started. They both had words deep in the St. Louis zone as Dupont tried to pinch in. He rubbed Turnbull out, and then after the face-off, Dupont and Turnbull just wrestled each other to the ice.
Dupont is heated, to say the least. Now Ron Wicks tells the young defenseman, earning his stripes here himself in the NHL, to make his way to the penalty box. Anderson, and Anderson saying, yeah, let's go. Well, look at him. About a flyway.
The Irish jig there? Who was he kidding?
That's nice when the linesman's got a hold of you and you're 20 feet away. Well, we get a little show here in the third period at the arena in St. Louis. Young Terry Anderson, who hasn't seen that much NHL action. Record broken by Wayne Gretzky.
Yes, that's exactly right. Guy Lafleur had 28-game scoring streak. Gretzky broke it last year, and Gretzky in turn breaks his own record this year, scoring in the late stages of that 8-5 loss to the New York Islanders on Long Island.
His 300th NHL goal tonight. Think of the days of somebody getting 300, 200 goals was great. What has Gretzky got? What, you know, if he has a 15-year career, what in the world is he looking at? He's going to go for 1,000 goals or better. Yaremchuk having words with Wicks after getting waved out of the face-off circle. Both teams playing a man short for another 33 seconds.
The Spectrum, Philadelphia 19148.
Right off the face-off, a shot went in on the net. Blocked by Prose, but it rebounded behind him. And Bobby Clarke has been very badly cut on the play as he raced over to the bench. And we didn't see how it occurred, but he made beeline right for Dave Settlemeyer and had blood all over his left hand and was quickly aided by the trainer who put the stick or a towel up against the left forehead. The puck got behind Prose, and then we didn't see what happened to he got a skate. He got a skate up into the face. Is that it, Bobby?
Glenn Cochran's skate came up and caught him on the side of the cheekbone after Cochran was trying to dive over to help Bobby Prose freeze the puck. But he's being taken right down towards the Chicago dressing room where he'll be attended to. It happened off the face-off as the Flyers, Clarke won the draw, Chicago won the draw with a shot coming through. Bobby Prose made the save, and the puck was bouncing around in behind Prose as he tried to make the to cover up for the face-off. Clarke came in, Cochran knocked the Chicago player down, and as Cochran fell on top of him, his skate came up and sliced Clarke on the side of the cheekbone, and he's being taken to the Chicago dressing room for repairs.
Losing themselves to each other for the first time. And Gilmore can't get around Brown. Brown's going to take Gilmore out. No question about that. And Carlson's all over Brown. Steele's going to help him out until he can get up. Carlson wants Brown. Now 20-foot Boyd Johnson came flying in. Boyd grabs him. And Carlson really going at it with Brown. We're going to give Denny Sear a lot of credit. He did a good job to help keep Brown. As Jack Carlson was right there saying, let's go.
Brown was out there for a long time. He's dead tired. He had to chase Brian Sutter on a breakaway. He was out there for a good 2 minutes, and at the end of the shift, he was run from behind by Carlson after he took Gilmore out.
There's Behn Wilson, and he's, going to stay close to Jack Carlson now. Meanwhile, Boyd still has Johnson. You see them. Behn Wilson's kind of standing by the blue line to say, anybody gets loose, I want it. And look at Boyd with Johnson. There they go. And there's Behn Wilson.
Wilson jumping on the back of Terry Johnson, and everybody goes now. The two linesmen are going to take care of Brown and Carlson near the penalty box, and Ron Wicks will watch this melee. Now, the one linesman back in, Wayne Forsey. Now Brown has been deposited in the penalty box, and Randy Mitten will come into the action. Well, Behn Wilson was just sort of standing out by the blue line, waiting for the play. And he thought he might get Carlson. As it turns out, he gets Johnson. Well, the Blackhawks certainly are frustrated, trailing 4-0.
Johnson wants to get at Savard because Savard clipped him with a high stick in a melee. That started it. Johnson dropped his gloves and went at Boyd. He was trying to get at Savard, and now he really wants to get at Savard. Johnson's about 6'4". There's about 220.
Ron Wicks says, go. I want you down the runway. And he says the same thing to Behn Wilson. I don't want to see you here anymore. Let's get the door open and let's get out of here.
My sentiments exactly.
Best line of the night. Congratulations. 10:41 to go at the St. Louis Arena. Well, baseball may have won an Ace Award, but he won the Humor Award. And there's a break in the action. We're going to be here till 10:30. Bird's eye view of things.
That looks like my apartment.
Lysiak makes the save at the goalpost. This is the NHL, a fight breaking out at center ice. Dupont going at it with Turnbull.
Ooh, you ever give it to him?
Well, the action continues. Dupont in an earlier melee.
Dupont really giving it to Turnbull as they came out of the penalty bench. Now Turnbull's on top. But Dupont knocked Turnbull down with a couple of those good shots. And Dupont clearly the victor in that fight, really giving it to Turnbull. He wanted to have, after that first altercation, they had words, and there's Dupont.
Jerome Dupont, 6'2", 195.
Well, he went with Al Secord in training camp, and they went toe-to-toe, and he can really throw them. He's really showed his worth there. He really gave it to Perry Turnbull coming out of the penalty box. After Lysiak.
Now Turnbull is being escorted off. Dupont has been a bit of a spark in a sense, at least tonight, in a rather lackluster evening for the Blackhawks. Now he says, I got my chance, and I'm going to give it everything I can one way or another. He's been very spirited here tonight at the St. Louis Arena, to say the least. Now, we can move away with 7:21 to go. The Blues with a 4-goal lead. I was thinking I was going to screw you up, but I didn't want to miss the fight. I wanted to alert you to stay if you wanted to, and I tried to do it such that you could have still gone away, you know. It's been a busy third period for Ron Wicks and the two linesmen, keeping things straightened out. There have been penalties galore here. At center ice, It's Anderson and Patterson. With the goal, Barry Anderson came out of the penalty box and let fly it Rick Patterson. Oh, my. This fifth of 8 season meetings between the two teams has had some very interesting twists to it. The two teams meet next the night after Christmas, Monday night, December 26th at the stadium. And we'll be there to see that. Now Bob Murray's goal to spoil the shutout.
Well, the goal should go to Bill Gardner. He deflects this shot here by Bobby.
Centering pass. Oh, Liu! Spectacular save on Fraser. Now Fraser and Ramage are nose to nose. Little pushing and shoving. The gloves come off. No punching yet. Now they wrestle, and they both go down. Fraser's on top, but I didn't see any punching being done at all. But more to the point, Dale, I don't know how in the world Mike Liu came up with a save that he just did.
Definitely a reflex.
Still 5 skaters aside, and the draw. Hawks try to clear it in, but it winds up sailing over the glass and into the seats. There's a couple of patrons ducking out of the way.
Certainly have to pay attention when you're sitting here in the stands at the stadium. That puck can really do some damage if you're not watching.
Boy,
Murray just trying to dump it in, and someone looking the other way got nailed right in the mouth with it. You see it being carried out, so you have to always be attentive.
You know, you really can't emphasize that enough, Dale, and boy, whenever you're at a hockey game, particularly if you happen to be sitting toward one of the end zones, you have got to stay alert when the play is on, because that thing gets up there pretty quick, and certainly, as you said, can do a lot of damage. But no call. Lysiak into the corner. Oh, did he take a hit from Delorme? Gilbert Delorme really crunched Lysiak. Now Delorme controls, and he
Rocks the guard to the ice. There will be a penalty to Martin. Weimer is checked. Butcher touches the puck. You can see that developing. Now here's Delorme and Secord. Delorme and Secord ready to go. The gloves are off.
I'll tell you what, nobody's going to fall on this one. If they do, it's going to be a wrestling match, but nobody's going to get KO'd. They'll stand here all night, hitting or not hitting. Secord got one in.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. You don't mess with the chief, but toe-to-toe, Delorme and Secord. Well, the fans always cheer. They figure the winner is the guy who lands on top. But I'll give it a draw. How about a couple of good shots either side?
Yeah, but I would kind of think that Secord landed maybe a couple that are a little tougher, and Delorme will take anybody on in the league. He'll more than hold his own.
Split decision then?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I guarantee you tonight, if this game gets out of hand one way or the other, I guarantee you'll see Craig Cox in his first shift go out there with Secord on the ice.
Well, we'll have 5-minute majors to Secord and Delorme as they head to the penalty box, and we'll head for this brief timeout. What's the matter, you little fucking... Goal of the year, both of them coming against the Blackhawks. Wickenheiser, the highly touted draft choice. There was a controversy whether that Montreal should draft Savard or Wickenheiser. They ended up taking Wickenheiser. He didn't play very much for him. He came to the St. Louis zone. Mark Bergevin held it in for Secord. Now he and Schofield. Here they go. They wrestle along the boards. Nothing really happening yet as they scramble right on the boards. Now Schofield up a right hand free, and he handles away. Schofield got his right hand loose, and he landed about 7 or 8 blows to the back of Secord's head. And the linesmen are in there now to pull him apart. Schofield had an advantage right there. certain they'll go at it before this evening is over. Schofield only in his third game has played 2 previous contests on the road. Secord will have some words with him. I'm sure he'll wait his turn. Right off the bat, right there, Schofield. They had words in the prior face-off. They dropped the glove. They start wrestling. Schofield gets the hand loose and starts to swing with no score. St. Louis, they had 1-0. We'll be back after this.
Second period, but 2 early St. Louis goals got the Blues. Now we have the discussion again at center ice. Referee Van Helleman just necktied a St. Louis player. That was Schofield, who has a face only a mother could love. And a lot of jawing going on out there, but now the players begin to pull apart. I started to say that the Fraser bounced one into the slot. It was laying right in the goal crease, and Lysiak didn't know where it was as a couple of players grapple in behind the net.
Sneak play by Fraser, trying to lob it over.
First goal cleared into center ice. Hunter knocked out hard by O'Callahan. Now McClellan took a run at O'Callahan, and everybody's scrambling away. O'Callahan was going to get the original penalty as he really got the elbow and stick up on Hunter, and then McClellan came charging and really wrapped O'Callahan. Then Behn Wilson came into it, and now he's grappling with McClellan. One linesman in there, and he's going to let him go, it looks like. Here they go. McClellan to left hand. Another left. He's knocked Wilson's helmet off. Now Wilson got the right hand loose. Oh, they're just slugging it out. Behn Wilson and Kevin McClellan, toe-to-toe. Wilson's right hand is free. McClellan's left. Now they're beginning to tire a bit. They've each landed 4 or 5 good shots. Now they get in a couple of more. And here the linesman in there now.
All started with O'Callahan coming across, taking the body on Hunter. Hunter took exception to it. High stick O'Callahan. And then McClellan jumped in on O'Callahan. Next thing you know, a melee in front of the bench. Wilson and McClellan finally go at it. It's 2-0. Edmonton with 12:54 remaining in the second period. We'll be back after this.
He hit the hog goal and knocked it off its moorings. You can see that he tumbled over and hit the net with his back, which is, of course, is an unprotected area, but he bounces right back up.
Everyone forgetting about Gretzky. He sneaks in behind, gets the pass. Fraser doing a good job to try and tie him up. He's still able to get the shot away. Deflects, and then he trips over Bannerman into the old-style post, and Gretzky could have been in some serious trouble, hitting his back and right into the middle of his back, right into the post.
13.5 minutes to go in the third. It's 3-1 Oilers as the draw. He rolled it nicely to Anderson, but drive! Bannerman, look out! He's out, I think, and the puck will be frozen. I think that Anderson rifled right off the face mask of Murray Bannerman. You could just see him topple to the ice like a falling redwood.
And I think the shot was partially deflected. It picked up some momentum as Anderson let it go. It might have gone off the stick of the defenseman, and Bannerman doesn't know. He makes the save. It hit him in the helmet or in the mask. Anderson at full speed, and look, it go off the stick and pick up speed to hit him right in the head. Bannerman goes down flat on his back. The puck just lay there. A late whistle. Now Skip there out again. Busy man in this first period. Administering to Savard at one end, and now Murray Bannerman. Bannerman, one of the few goaltenders that's still wearing that old-style mask. Voilà, un combat ici. C'est Tom Fergus ici. Oui, qui a voulu... il attendait le moment de pouvoir...
Bobby Smith getting worked over by Tom Fergus with only 31 seconds left.
Well, that's a little holdover from the right wing boards. Now Ludzik, he's knocked off the puck, but here goes Ludzik with Martin. The gloves are off and they're wrestling now in front of the Canuck bench. I haven't seen too many punches being thrown. Seems to be more of a wrestling match than anything else. And the linesmen are in there to try to get Steve Ludzik and Grant Martin apart.
Now, would you want to be a linesman in the National Hockey League? Delorme and Dupont got picked up in the corner to the right of Bannerman, and then Ludzik took exception to something Martin did. Started flailing away right in front of the Vancouver bench.
So now those two players are pulled apart.
They're both getting their gloves and sticks up. The stick accidentally hit Ludzik. Ludzik dropped his gloves and away started flailing away at Martin.
Now Ludzik being challenged by Dave Morrison, it looks like, as Morrison came out of nowhere to come into the area of Ludzik. But the linesman alertly, and Beamster clearing it down. Oh, Ludzik covers up. Yuri Bubla sent Steve Ludzik head over heels at the hop. And the Canucks having the better of it here in the second period. Now we're going to have a Vancouver penalty as one of the Canucks put an elbow right into Billy Gardner's shot. We'll tell you about it in a moment. The score, 2-1 Vancouver. We'll be right back.
Back to Wilson. It comes over here near the line for Bob Murray. They'll try to set up Doug Wilson for a shot. They would like him to shoot it. And he can shoot the cannons. The fight is started right in front of Reggett. It's Secord and Nylund. Wow, you talk about two heavyweights. There's a couple of heavyweights, is right, Bob. Nylund got Secord to the ground. Boy, it didn't take that long for the two of them to get the net off their little post, and two big boys going at it. Nylund on top right now. They get in to break them up, but of course Secord right in front of the net trying to screen the goaltender Reggett, set up that shot from the point, and two guys who like to go out at the biggest opportunity, they let's do it. Two muscle men for sure, Mitch. And you know, the heavier of the two, Nylund, and of course he put the weight on Secord. I guess you got to go down. It'll be a while trying to get that apart because Secord doesn't want to end this thing. You know, this Secord's the kind of a guy that can make the Hawk team go. As we mentioned, between himself and Curt Fraser, a couple of big tough guys who like to get in and mix it up, and certainly had to be a big factor in the Hawks last year, finishing so low. Here's a look at a high angle as it starts. Look at Reggett. He gave Secord a shot, and that's what started it. Secord gave Reggett a shot with the stick. If he got a slash on the ankle from Kenny Reggett, he got away with that, and we'll have major penalties at least to Secord and Nylund. Okay, here's Brian McFarland with a Hockey Night in Canada update.
Back to McKinnon drive in front, a turnaround shot and a great save by Bannerman off Ray Allison, and a dandy play.
Allison was pulled right down. Now there should. The play was stopped. Andy Van Helleman might be calling penalties, but he should be giving something to goaltender Murray Bannerman as he speared Propp when they were standing over him after the play was down. But it appears that he's going to give out both penalties. It happened with a great chance for Philadelphia. Ray Allison really standing his ground in front. I think he might have hit it on the first shot as he tried that backhand. He was literally tackled by Doug Wilson after the shot. Then Propp was right there standing. Patterson came in. Play seemed to be dead. And then Beamster came in, got his glove in it. And I think that's what happened. Bannerman came up and took a shot after the play was all dead. And he is the one who will be picking up the penalty, but he's going to be picking it for roughing. So Bannerman will pick up a 2-minute minor for roughing, and the Flyers will have to
save. Intercepted again. Hedberg this time. Little elbow by Gardner on McClanahan, I think it is. They're starting to go a bit. This could get nasty, simply because both teams are a little bit hot. Now there's some peacemakers out there. Greshner's not one of them.
As far as the Rangers right now, every time that number 2 Randy Boyd's on, I'd be going after him.
Marsh and Greshner are going pretty good. McClanahan and Gardner are still jawing at each other. It's spreading a little bit. Pavlich just shrugged somebody off. And maybe it'll end. Looks like.
with no calls, I believe.
Well, there should be.
Whoop, there will be penalties coming up.